If you're just joining us, this is Cranberry Thunderfunk's Dota 2 stream. I am Cranberry Thunderfunk, and I am excited to bring you Game 2 of a match between LGD Gaming versus Invictus Gaming in the Dota 2 Super League. This is in the group stages. This is a best of 2, as they're just determining placement in the playoffs. And IG has lost a rather sad Game 1. LGD picked up the Chaos Knight Wisp and used it very, very well. IG picked kind of their traditional face rush lineup.
LGD's turn to pick.
I guess I shouldn't say face rush because they didn't have a Night Stalker or anything that was uniquely designed for diving towers, but they really wanted to team fight, push towers down, and rack up track gold, and none of that happened in Game 1 for them. Chen's creeps were constantly going down to illuminate. Zhou on Gyrocopter was repeatedly getting hook-shotted and cogged by Yao on Clockwork, and I think at the end of the game, Zhou had the most deaths on his team as that hard carry Gyrocopter, which really shot the late game hopes for IG. And everybody on LGD had farm. Zhou 8 on Nyx Assassin was able to pick up an early blink, and he turned that into several kills. There was just food all over the place and tons of ways to initiate for LGD between the Clockwork, Nyx Assassin, as well as the Wisp. So in this game, we'll see how IG adapts. It's interesting that even after getting pummeled by Wisp, neither team bans out Wisp in the first round. It's just funny how different teams perceive the value of picks. And there's the Wisp picked up again, as well as the Chaos Knight. So here's the question: will IG learn from last game and find a draft that can deal with that?
Chen.
They go for the Chen again. I have to question this right out. Chen is not a good pick against Chaos Knight Wisp. Chen is not mobile. Pushing towers in the way that Chen likes to, where you're kind of snowballing, is also not very viable. Particularly, I mean, even Wisp aside, Chaos Knight is good at handling sieges of your towers because of Reality Rift. You can bring people to you, and Chen can't handle that particularly well. And with Darkseer as well, I think Ion Shell is... It's not a hard counter to Chen, but putting Ion Shell on Chen's creeps can be very problematic. It requires a lot of micro, and that forces Chen to pay attention to something that you really don't want to. You want to be focused on lockdown, making sure that you're using all of your spells on your creeps and that they're not dying, or that they're not getting picked off. If you've got Ion Shell on them, then you have to keep them separated. You have to be very particular about how they're positioned. LGD bans out a Necrolite in the second round. I don't think I've ever seen IG play Necrolite, so it's an interesting ban. In fact, I don't know that I've ever seen Necrolite played in recent professional play. So a curious ban from LGD.
IG's turn to
So
ban.
IG, I think the one thing I do like is that Kunkka is good versus Chaos Knight Wisps. With Kunkka's Rum, that provides a lot of temporary survivability, which is very valuable in those very dependent duration-specific fights that Relocate tends to create, where you have a 12-second window, and if you could live through that, then you're going to be okay. And Kunkka's Rum is very good at helping make that happen. IG also gets their favorite support pick in the Rubik. Chuan plays a fantastic Rubik. One of the best, if not the best. Perhaps matched only by the likes of Kuroki. Pretty similar lineup for LGD so far. They get the Keeper of the Light this time as well, which is also quite strong against Chen. And actually, that makes me think that
5 seconds remaining.
No, if IG has the Rubik, then they're going to give it to Chuan, so it'll probably be Faith on Chen this game.
Time.
So LGD is still looking for their solo mid pickup. IG, they could send the Kunkka mid, but he'll probably be in the safe lane. So IG, they still want a solo mid and their off lane pickup. Another thing I like about Keeper of the Light is that with the Wisp Chaos Knight combo, it's very common for Wisps to go down. That's really all you can... That's the target you have to focus first, unless you have a lot of burst damage to take Chaos Knight out immediately. But if you kill the Wisp, then the relocate is cancelled. Alternatively, if Wisp is able to relocate as a escape mechanism for Chaos Knight...
Windrunner at your service.
Slark.
Oh, it's a Slark pickup!
IG's turn to
Very cool. Keeper of the Light helps with keeping Wisp with the team, thanks to the recall. The Slark pick, I've never seen LGD play Slark, so that's very exciting. And there's also a Morphling pick on IG, which at this point in 6.77 was rather novel. Morphling is good versus Chaos Knight Wisp, so I think that's... I like that pick.
prepare for battle.
So Zhou will be playing Slark, looks like he's headed towards mid once more. Sylar playing Chaos Knight, DD once more on that Keeper of the Light, and DDC also playing Wisp again. For IG, they've got Faith on Rubik, which that's the opposite of how I thought it was going to be. Thought for sure they'd put Chuan on there, but I guess not. YYF playing Windrunner. I assume that he'll be going mid, but no, it looks like it's going to be a Kunkka mid. Zhou will be playing Morphling and Chuan on Chen. Ferrari going mid as Kunkka. This mid matchup,
30 seconds to battle.
it should favor Kunkka, not overwhelmingly. There's a lot of ways for Zhou to escape, and I would say in the mid game, Slark has the advantage. Because he's able to purge basically all debuffs, which I believe includes X marks the spot. Dark Pact is very finicky about what it does and does not dispel, so I am not 100% positive about that, but I believe it does. And it's also good for the Torrent. You can, if you know the Torrent is coming, you can activate the Dark Pact and get rid of both the slow and the stun, because that's part of what makes Torrent so powerful, is that it's not only a short duration stun, but there's a long slow that follows after it. So IG choosing to abandon the bottom lane, which I don't know about that. One of the weaknesses of Wisp is that Wisp is really not very strong in lane, which makes it possible to... Oh, there's a lift onto Yao. He does not have Surge. He's still level 1, and he went Iron Shell first. This could be First Blood. Just a few more last hits. He pops the salve. That's going to save him. So, close call for Yao. Does have to use the salve, which means he's going to be lacking for regen later in these fights.
Denied.
But, I mean, IG really could be running somebody in this bottom lane. There's a number of... Like, you don't have to have a strong offlaner to challenge just a Chaos Knight and Wisp. So I don't understand the rationale behind that decision. Yao, he'll be having a little trouble early on, especially because of the early harassment that came out. I don't think he was expecting 4 heroes to be there. This is a jungling Windrunner. Like, this is... Windrunner could just go down there right now. Like, she could be there in that offlane, making more experience and gold happen for his team. But apparently that's just not... not how IG wants to run their Windrunner. I don't know. I really have no reasonable explanation for this choice of lanes.
Radiant's
As
middle
if I
tower
wasn't
is under
slippery
attack.
enough already.
Looking towards middle. I think one of the reasons that I said Kunkka should have a little bit of a step up in this lane is because of Tidebringer. As a melee, Zhou 8 will be forced to eat a lot of Tidebringer cleaves, but Ferrari has to be able to auto attack to use them. So as long as he doesn't want to get trapped up on the hill, he knows that DD is somewhere in the jungle and could show up, create problems for him. The pounce lasts long enough to land. Oh, there it is. There's the pounce with the Dark Pact. He's got 1 point in essence shift right now, so means he's able to man fight quite nicely. And it hurts the ability of Ferrari to go toe-to-toe with Slark.
Dire's top tower is
So
under
Slark
attack.
takes an early advantage in this mid lane, 14-6 versus 8-2 on Ferrari. PPC's having a happy fun time pulling over in the jungle.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
So should get a relatively early level 6. He's already at 4 at 3.5 minutes into the game, which is actually, he's almost 5, so he's really going to be in a good place. Very passive early game so far, which Zhou 8's got to be a little bit careful. Doesn't want to eat another Tidebringer splash, but he's got a regen waiting for him. A little bit of room luck helping him out in this lane. Zhou, he's a little bit behind in last hits compared to Sylar. I'm not sure why. Does look like IG may be able to take this top tier 1 early on.
Radiant's top tower is under
DD is
attack.
here with his Illuminate, which is a good way of handling particularly these small skeleton warriors
Radiant structures are fortified.
that make these Dark Troll warlords very strong for early pushing. But nevertheless, LGD
Radiant's top
might not
tower
be
is
able to
under
defend this
attack.
top tier 1. The important thing for LGD is just to get Slark to level 6 and Wisp to level 6. For both of these heroes, their effectiveness really depends on getting there as early as possible. Slark, because he needs that HP regen, as well as the move speed, as early as possible.
Dire's
Tier 1 did
bottom
not go
tower
down.
is under attack.
Took a lot of damage, but they just weren't able to last long enough, and I think we can probably credit that to the Illuminate from DD.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
So another 30 seconds to a minute, and Wisp will have that level 6. There's a pounce with the Dark Pact. He's doing this. Ferrari really just can't handle fighting Zhou 8. Although, there's the X marks the spot. Dark Pact will get him out, but not quite. They've got the sentry down. There's the relocate, though. Ferrari's very low. Easy kill for Sylar picked up. Reality Rift onto Chuan. Double kill going towards Sylar instantly. So what looked like a very nice first blood for IG. And oh no! Okay, good. Very, very good play by Faith, making sure that the visibility room was not picked up by the enemy. Could have been put to use. Yeah, what looked like a really great gank onto the mid. Instant turnaround because of that early 6. And that was literally seconds after Wisp had hit level 6. And that's how much it matters. I think they may have even planned for it. They might have even checked to see what level Wisp was at before they went. But because it probably happened as they were ganking Zhou 8,
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
they were dedicated at that point. And you know, if they'd had somebody to challenge this lane, Windrunner, this is what boggles my mind. Like, why? Windrunner can challenge pulls with ease. Power Shot is very long range. I mean, you can do it from basically all the way over here, probably around right there, and you can pick up kills on this. Oh, Chuan. He finds a kill on middle. Zhou goes down again. So they're keeping the Slark down, and that's very good for IG. That Slark could create a lot of problems for them. He's very powerful against heroes like Windrunner and supports like Rubik, as his Dark Pact is very effective versus their somewhat predictable stuns. So that's one ray of hope here.
Tower is under attack.
That said, even with the 2 deaths, zhou is pretty far ahead of Ferrari at this point in middle. I mean, that's really have to think about it. 34-9 on zhou versus 19-6 on Ferrari, and that's with the 2 deaths. So Slark winning this matchup quite nicely, and I think I was incorrect in saying that Kunkka should win this lineup. The key for Slark is to be as aggressive as possible. So, despite his deaths, I think this Slark pickup is very smart and forward-thinking by LGD.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
We haven't seen any such picks from IG in quite a long time.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So the smoke up onto YYF, Chuan, and Ferrari. Kills could be made to happen here. But Wisp has the relocate and is level 8 at 8 minutes. That's really good for a Wisp. Is Wisp in range for the tether? Yes, he is. So he'll be safe. But there are 4 down here for IG. They've got to find a kill here. They're dedicating a lot to this. Zhou is farming up at the top, so buying this time is valuable. Ultimately, they choose to back off, I think wisely. They realize they can't dive the tower, and it's too possible for DDC to pull sylar back to the base and make sure that IG doesn't pick up a kill on sylar.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Sylar's farm is the best in the game right now. He's 65 and 26. Oh, there's the X marks the spot. The relocate will save him! He's pulled out just in time, and that's exactly what I was talking about. I hate it when casters say that, but I called it. DDC pulls sylar out just in time with the relocate, and sylar's now ready to fight. He pops the Phantasm. DDC does go down immediately. Sylar's dealing a lot of damage, and Zhou here. He's popped the Shadow Dance. YYF, he goes down. Zhou is actually teleported down here too. Yao drops very low, but he's going to be fine for the time being. Chaos Bolt lands on Chuan. This should be yet another kill for sylar. So Chuan goes down, Faith goes down, Zhou, he's dropping really low. He's popped the Morph, but he's out of strength to morph to, and the Chaos Bolt finishes him off. Triple kill! Triple kill for sylar. Massive fight for LGD. All that IG got out of that was DDC and zhou. Zhou probably being the most valuable kill outside of sylar, but they've gotten him several times now, and sylar is really what matters. And sylar picked up a triple kill there. I mean, that gives him the Ogre Club towards his BKB. At 10 minutes, he's sitting on 1500 health. Stopping him in these relocate ganks is going to be impossible. And I really like the decision making there by LGD. I thought for sure that they would just sacrifice the Wisp, but all of LGD rotated. They got there just in time, and they maintained the tether, brought sylar back into the fight. And it worked out really well. There's the... Oh no, Joe's dropping really low. He was able to pop the Morph before the chain stun, but a crit from sylar. This is a level 10 Chaos Knight with Treads Drum and Ogre Club. That's 120 damage, plus the Overpower. It's a lot of damage. And even with his free farm, Zhou's 2 deaths mean that all he's sitting on is Treads in a bottle. So while I liked the Morphling pick, he really can't be joining fights. I think it was a questionable decision for him to have rotated down to bottom. Now they did need everybody,
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
but he just became another kill to feed to IG. And he even needs to be careful down at this bottom tier 1, because with Slark and a relocate, I don't think that he would be able to last very long. So in terms of items, Yao's working towards his buckler. Zhou 8, he's finished his treads. I'm curious to see what he goes next. Mana Boots up on Faith, so good for the supports to have that. Mana Boots also picked up on YYF, a very passive pickup. YYF, he gets vacuumed and eats an immediate Luminate. He does get the power shot off, but he's just going to go down to Chaos Knight. Reality Rift, no problem. DDC does eat the boat, dropping very low. Almost makes it out. Illuminate finishes off Faith. Ferrari dropping very low, brought back into the Ion Shell, double Ion Shell, in fact. Easy kills. There's a Chaos Bolt, Reality Rift. 4 kills going the way of LGD. IG cannot handle the Chaos Knight Wisp. And that's not even necessarily IG's fault. Wisp has a pretty massive win rate in every tournament. And I think that even remains true in 6.78, and this is 7.7 before the wide variety of nerfs that have come in, both through the patch changes and bug fixes. I think it was really questionable for Zhou to be there again. I don't know if he went down in that fight. IG wanted to fight, but they can't handle this Chaos Knight. He's very close to his BKB, and once he has that, I don't see a way for IG to take him down. The late game hopes for IG are not great here either. They've got Kunkka, but Ferrari, he's not having a great time. Oh, Zhou, he's dropping really low. He does have the replicate up, so he's able to juke over into the trees, but they know exactly where he is. Drum is popped on Sylar. Are they going to be able to catch him? Yes, they do. There's the Reality Rift, finished off with a Chaos Bolt.
Was hardly a challenge worthy of the name.
So Zhou goes down again, trying to farm this bottom lane to no success. IG has to be careful. This is quickly falling out of control. 10,000 experience at 14 minutes. And almost 7,500 gold in favor of LGD. And there's only one tower down. I mean, one tower down on the side of IG. Which actually is irrelevant because LGD also lost their offlane tier 1. Mech finished on Yao, further increasing the survivability. BKB up on Sylar. DDC working towards an urn. Actually, probably not an urn. Oh, YYF, he gets Reality Rifted. YYF immediately runs out. Vacuum onto 4. Chaos Bolt lands on Faith. Hand of God keeps Faith alive for just a moment longer, but doesn't matter. Kunkka's Rum keeping Ferrari alive for just a few seconds longer, but Ferrari, he's getting chased down by the very fast Chaos Knight. Pounce lands on Chuan. Chuan will go down to Zhou 8. Actually, Yao picking up the last hit. And Sylar finishes off Ferrari. Zhou, he's over here. He did manage to pick up 2 kills on the Wisp and Darkseer, but YYF, he's going to go down. That's yet another kill for Sylar. And they're all the way behind the mid-tier 2 here, and the mid-tier 1 isn't even down. And there's nothing that IG can do about it. They just they don't have the stuns and they don't have the bursts. I think this draft from IG not working out. I do have to wonder how differently things might be if there were a Windrunner down at bottom instead of in the jungle, and if that Windrunner maybe had phase boots instead of mana boots, going for a very hard support item. Really strongly disagree with that choice. Helm of the Dominator picked up on DD. Looks like they want to get more pushing power. They may also be choosing to stack the Ancients, but they don't really need to. They can just keep the aggression up and start taking more towers. Chuan's not having a fun game. He's got mana boots. About a third of the way towards a mech. Has no creeps though. Been too many fights. Zhou has hit level 11, which means really good things for his survivability. He gets 68 HP regen when he's not visible. There's the X marks the spot on Zhou, but this gives him plenty of time to pop the Dark Pact. There's a relocate in from Sylar and DDC. Chuan, he's going to go down. Zhou, he gets surged away, and that's going to allow him to heal up. Ferrari, he's eating the Ion Shell damage. I don't think he's going to make it out of this. Zhou, he's got the waveform. He'll dodge the pounce. Immediately TP's out. Is he going to be able to make it out? Yes, he is. So Zhou doesn't die, which barely prevents this from being a team wipe. That's a 4 for 0 in favor of LGD. 21-7, 17 minutes into the game. XP advantage, 15,000. Gold advantage, 12,000. I don't see a way out of this for IG. They chose not to ban the Chaos Knight Wisp because they didn't think that was a problem the last game, but I think this clearly demonstrates that Chaos Knight Wisp is something that they are not properly handling. They're underestimating it for sure. Chuan, he gets pounced, Dark Packs, blows the Hand of God, I think probably unnecessarily. YYF, he gets a 4-second Chaos Bolt, finished off by Slark. Zhou, nice vacuum onto 3. Boat lands on 2. DDC is finished off, so there's no more Wisp in this fight. But Sylar, he's doing so much damage to his illusions. Ferrari, he eats a 4-second Chaos Bolt. He's getting torn up by these illusions. Another Reality Rift. Faith goes down. Sylar is just everywhere in these fights. GG is called by IG. They recognize that if LGD is able to do this when there are like all the tier 2s are sitting at full HP, then that's it. There's nothing more to it. There's the game was over for IG about 8 minutes ago. They underestimate the Chaos Knight Wisp once again, and they pay for it badly. This is, I mean, the previous game they had a chance. There was a glimmer of hope in the gyrocopter. They had track and roar. They had comeback mechanisms and ways to punish dives. This game, they have none of that. I thought the Morphling was going to be a good pick because of the morph can really extend the amount of time it takes to commit to a gank on him. But at the end of the day, doesn't matter if he doesn't have the farm, and he never got that farm, and if the rest of the team is getting blown apart. I think the Windrunner pick was also very weak in this game. YYF went 0-5, and I don't think that was necessarily his fault, since he was put into the jungle. If he were in that off lane, that Wisp wouldn't have had relocate, and there wouldn't have been an immediate double kill going towards Sylar after IG picked up first blood on Zhou 8. I think the game didn't have to go this way. With some different lanes and honestly some different picks, I don't think that Kunkka ever got to see the light of day either. 28 last hits and he was mid. Sad days.